Sad day, ladies and gentlemen. Reports came in last night that the North Rim Lodge of the Grand Canyon had burned to the ground. Multiple cabins, National Park Service buildings. Horrible. Historic building. It's been there for a long time. This isn't the first time it's burned down. There was one that burned down originally, but mind you, that was over 100 years ago. So this is history in the making, ladies and gentlemen. We have two fires going on the north rim of the Grand Canyon and the Kaibab National Forest, which are obviously connected. So you have the White Sage Fire over in Fredonia, or near Fredonia on the other side of the mountain. Then you have the Dragon Bravo Fire at the very tip of the North Rim near the lodge. And unfortunately, last night, the lodge was struck by the fire and it burnt down. The Dragon Bravo Fire began on July 4th of 2025 after a lightning strike on the north rim of the Grand Canyon National Park. At first, the fire was managed under the confine and contain strategy, a common approach for remote wildfires that are deemed low risk and can serve an ecological purpose by reducing overgrown fuel. But the North Rim isn't just a backcountry. It's home to one of the most iconic lodges in the national park system. Along with historic cabins, water facilities, and visitor infrastructure, many are now asking, why wasn't this fire treated as a top priority from the beginning? On July 11th, strong northwest winds caused the fire to breach its original boundaries. That same day, mandatory evacuations were issued. By the next morning, the fire had expanded to an estimated 5,000 acres. Then came the disaster. On the night of July 12th, around 10:30 p.m., the fire rapidly intensified. According to the National Park Service, the fire exhibited extreme and volatile fire behavior, driven by 20-mile-per-hour sustained winds and gusts reaching up to 40 miles per hour. Firefighters made significant efforts to slow the fire's advance under extremely dangerous and fast-changing conditions. Despite aerial bucket drops with helicopters that were conducted near the Grand Canyon Lodge, efforts were hampered by a chlorine gas leak at the water treatment facility. That leak forced firefighting personnel to evacuate key zones, leaving limited options to defend the historic district. By the morning of July 13th, officials confirmed what many had feared. The Grand Canyon Lodge was gone. Along with it, between 50 to 80 structures, including National Park Service administrative buildings, cabins, and visitor facilities, 100 years of history had been lost. Most importantly, no injuries or fatalities were reported. All staff and residents had been evacuated prior to the fire's most extreme run. As of now, the fire is being managed with a full suppression strategy, and retardant drops are now underway, but they didn't begin until long after the lodge was destroyed. According to the National Park Service, fire crews began ordering retardant drops on July 13th, focusing on the east side of the developed area, including Roaring Spring drainage. Again, the timing raises fair questions. Why did it take so long to deploy a full aerial support? Why weren't air tankers used earlier, before winds took over and the structures were lost? To be clear, this isn't about blaming firefighters on the ground. They were facing serious conditions and doing everything they could with the resources and strategy in place. But for many observers, it feels like this fire wasn't taken seriously until it was already out of control. With active fire behavior still threatening infrastructure, the North Rim is now closed for the remainder of the 2025 season. Key inner canyon trails and campgrounds, including Phantom Ranch, Havasupai Gardens, and both Kaibab trails, remain closed until further notice. Mark your calendar, folks. Today marks a significant historic day for the Grand Canyon, and we are all observers of it. Have a nice day.